Public Works, Parks and Rec, Police, and so knowing that, I approached Mr. Huval to say, look, I need these services and I don't have the money to pay for them. We need to figure out how to make some of this stuff happen. He reminded me of the Fair Competition Act, that he can't give away services to the LCG, and that we would need to pay for those services. And that's when we started down the path of realizing, well, look, we can accelerate this current ILOT schedule, which will then in turn give us money into the city general fund, which will then allow us to pay for these needs that I think we have. And so I think we're on the right path. We can get the legal team to clean up the language to make sure that that includes the process of coming before the council. And like you said, if I say I need Wi-Fi in these 3 parks and y'all decide that no, that money's better spent in public works on traffic cameras, and when I say traffic cameras, I'm not talking about the red light cameras, I'm talking about traffic cameras to monitor traffic flows and use all the algorithms that exist with those things in really smart ways. And then, you know, that's going to be the council's prerogative, is to reshuffle that money around. I believe the needs will always far exceed the ILOT calculation. And so once we have it worded correctly, then I think it'll be something we can all get behind and support.
Yeah, I think so also. And, you know, we've had some really successful budgets, and that's how it's been done. It's you know, the administration wishes and how we divvy this thing up, and then we get this approval, and I think that's just a whole lot more comfort across the board. But,
yep.
But we appreciate that. Okay. Mr. Bellard?
Yes, and I guess, no offense to Ms. Tubes, but the decision should be made by us and the city parish president. So just, I guess in the future, section 5 kind of, you know, made me sit up too. It's like, you know, we're just going to get a piece of paper and these decisions are being made. So I agree, and I would offer a deferment on this ordinance.
So Mr. Bellard has actually offered a motion to defer. And who said second up? Mr. Castillo? And everybody had in fact spoken. So
As far as the date, Mr. Huval, if any of your suggestions on when you need this done, or Mr. Robideau, give me a date that y'all would like to, or legal, how much time do you need to clean it up, and then get back with the council on the clear version?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would say that we're going to get with council as soon as possible. I mean, legal counsel as soon as possible, to try to get the language drafted, because as early in the new budget year as possible that we can come up with this, we can start implementing, and at least going down the path of figuring out what the police need, what the parks need. And so we'll work through the normal process. I don't think there's any reason to suspend rules or call special meetings, but we'll get it introduced, you know, as soon as we can, and then have it placed on an agenda.
Okay. Then I can do a deferral without a date?
that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
sounds good.
he
That's
was
what I want.
inquiring to see if we wanted to tie a date to it, but
No,
you
don't
just
leave
leave the
that's
date
what I was
we
open,
don't need to do.
Okay.
and you
Thank
all will
you.
bring it
Thank
back.
you, though.
All right, that's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So what we're going to do at this point, there's a motion and a second to defer, but Mr. Terrio had a question prior to that time. After Mr. Terrio speak, because this deferred consideration is on the floor, that's going to eliminate council discussion, and we're going to only honor blue cards at that point, okay? Mr. Terrio?
Mr. Escott, earlier you'd mentioned that it had already been passed by the LPUA. Okay. Now, I do know that some of these ordinances not become valid until after 10 days of the signature of the administration.
Whichever occurs first.
Will this pose any problems with the previous ordinance that was adopted by the LPUA?
No, sir. Even if it becomes in effect, it's not effective because there's no counterpart from the council.
It does not become approved until the governing body as a whole
Until
approves.
both bodies pass
Got it.
an identical.
Just wanted to make sure. That's all I have. Thank you so much.
Okay, so that's going to end council discussion on this matter. From this point forward, we're going to only honor blue cards of those people who still wish to speak, but be it known that there's going to probably be a deferment on this item, and it's going to be a fresh start in a couple of weeks when they come back with it. Any blue cards?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's vote on the deferment, please.
District 6,
Yes.
Yes.
District 8,
Yes.
District 9, District 2, District 3, District 4,
Yes.
District 5, Motion to defer indefinitely is approved. Ordinance 201, 2017, an ordinance of the Lafayette City-Parish Council amending Section 26437A of the Lafayette City-Parish Consolidated Government Code of Ordinances to provide for updated standards for backflow prevention and cross-connection control.
Motion by Terrio, second by Lewis. This is also another item that came up at LPU, and just for the purpose of the balance of the members, the question was asked at that point, if you remember the last time we did anything with the backflow prevention, that created a little stir in the community and plumbers and all of that good stuff. This is being done only to follow the state standards that have been set in some of the new regulations that are in place. There's no anticipation that no investments will be necessary on anyone's part with their residential services or commercial services. So this again is just the intent to stay in line with the regulations that have come forward. Any council discussion on this matter? Seeing none, any blue cards? Please call the vote.
District 7,
Yes.
District 8,
Yes.
District 9.
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5. District 6.
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Ordinance 202, 2017, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council providing for the conditional abandonment of a permanent maintenance easement and the granting of a public facilities servitude on the property of Ye Old College Inn Incorporated, having a municipal address of 911 Lee Avenue.
Motion by Bellard, second by Lewis. Council discussion? There is none. Any blue cards?
Yes, sir. We have two citizens who signed in only if needed. John Blanetter II and Al Lopez.
Think we good, gentlemen? Okay, let's call the vote on this item.
District 8,
Yes.
District 9.
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5, District 6. Yes. District 7. Motion to adopt is approved. Ordinance 206, 2017, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the fiscal year 16-17 capital budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by transferring the remaining balances of several Fund 206 capital accounts totaling $43,931 within the Lafayette Animal Care Center into two Fund 206 capital accounts for expenditure on replacing the animal freezer and repair or replacement of the storage building at the Lafayette Animal Care Center.
Can I get a motion? Motion by Abear, second by Cook. Council discussion? There is none. Any blue cards? Please call the vote.
District 9,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
District 6.
Yes.
District 7.
Yes.
District 8. Motion to adopt is approved. Ordinance 207, 2017, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending Section 42, Stormwater Improvements of Chapter 89, the Unified Development Code of the Lafayette City Parish Code of Ordinances, Stormwater Improvements to enact increased standards for stormwater management.
Motion by Conk, second by Terrio. Council discussion? Mr. Terrio.
Mr. Broussard, if you don't mind, sir, give us a brief overview, and I guess while you're walking up, thank you for all the time you've put into this. I know it was a lot. When it was said there wasn't any more that could be done, you and your group and those involved came forward, so thank you again.
Well, thank you. Larry Broussard, City Parish Engineer for Design Development. This ordinance is a result of efforts since the event of last August. Based on questions that were raised by the council and the administration about development activities and did that have any negative impact during the event. So we went back and reviewed 35 subdivisions, myself and two other engineers in my section, and going back as far as 2005. And we looked at storage capacity within detention ponds, compliance with our LCG subdivision regulations as well as FEMA's requirements. And from that study, we found everything was as it could be and should be. There was actually more capacity in the storage ponds than what we thought. I mean, the design requirements are 10-year and 5-year for commercial and residential respectively. The ponds are actually holding it to a 100-year storm. So we saw a lot of capacity that these facilities had that were being underutilized, I guess. I brought those results to Mayor Robideau, and he asked me to, at that point in time, to take a line-by-line action and a review of the stormwater regulations. In that process, we found some areas where we could have some improvement and a positive impact on the area drainage systems. Those are really focused on 3 main issues within this ordinance, and there's a lot of parts of the ordinance that deal to engineering criteria that get us to the point, which is a minimum requirement of 25-year storm for any detention pond. They also we came and found that we could reduce the runoff from these developments. So right now we do a pre-equal post. We're actually going to be post-development runoff rates are going to be reduced by 15%. So I think that's one of the goals, was has a positive impact on the drainage system, and in that manner we reducing the runoff from future developments. And the third was a zero net fill for any developments in a floodplain, floodway area, such that the amount of fill activity equals to the storage that is consumed by that fill. So there's they have the hydraulic requirements from FEMA, and then we're going to layer on top of that the fill activity. And that's, the ordinance in a nutshell, I guess. And any questions, I'm pleased to answer.
That's all I have for now, Mr. Broussard. Thank you so much, but that's all I have, Mr. Boudreaux.
Thank you very much. Hold on, Larry.
All right.
Mr. Castillo?
Top? Oh, okay, sorry about that. Larry,
Yes, sir.
a couple of questions. The study showed that the developments actually held back more water than was actually, if they weren't there before, is what you're telling me. Right now, it's supposed to be zero runoff after development as before.
Well, currently, what we found, they have the capacity to hold a 100-year storm. The site itself wasn't generating that water. So what we're trying to do with the ordinance and the revised regulations is allow the area water to backflow into these ponds and have some storage capacity that will help reduce the stress on a system during a design storm or any storm event.
So you're going to impose a 15%, you called it?
Reduction.
Reduction.
Right. And that, again, that's for not only for the major events we go through, but for the design storms as they have, because we found that these ponds are actually being built because they need to fill, essentially. So they were oversized, and they probably will continue to be oversized, because if you're putting fill and digging ponds, then you have that much more storage capacity. So now the area drainage system will be able to take some relief within these ponds during those major events, and because the ponds are sized as big as they are during a lesser event, that the neighborhoods themselves will be able to hold more water and release it slower into the system.
If the ponds are bigger than they're required to be, and they're going to hold that extra water that's on these special events, or these abnormal events,
Right.
they'll hold more water. So what you can do is you can impose another 15% on the developers to make their ponds even bigger. You saying?
No, sir.
That's what I just kind of gathered.
I know. But
And you can tell I'm not an engineer.
well, it goes through a lot of hydraulic and technical issues as far as when the ponds and the size of the ponds and the water's coming. As water is draining into the ponds, water is draining out of the ponds. As the channel fills up, that rate of discharge slows down, and to a point where it could actually stop flowing out of the development, and then there would be no more water being. Today, the water doesn't backflow into the ponds. We're going to allow that water now, or requesting this water to backflow into the ponds during those higher events. Now, during a lesser event, it's just still choked down like it is today and produce less water coming off the site. At a lower rate, I guess. The same amount of water is obviously going to leave eventually out of the pond.
That's probably the only issue I have with the ordinance is that right there.
Yes, sir.
I can understand everything else.
Right.
I know a lot of people think that developments are flooding everybody, and you just said that they're not.
And I agree with that, but this is something I think, we have a lot of developments that don't have ponds.
Right.
And this was one option that I think we have available to us to take a bit of pressure off for every new development that comes from, from today forward. So it's going to take a long time before we make up with the development regulations of the past, but I think this is
Right.
a very viable option, and it really is including in what we do today. We're not asking them to do anything. The ponds are basically going to be the same size as they are today. We even looked in here for those smaller sites, 2.5 acres and below, that they're exempt from this requirement because it's hard for them even to meet the regulations of today. The larger sites have that capacity in the ponds, and I think we can, again, take a little bit of pressure off the drainage systems moving forward.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. I just want to make it clear to everyone that since these regulations have been put in place, that the developers have been going above and beyond
Right.
what they're required to
Right.
do, so they're not really flooding anyone. It's just the unusual rain events that we used to get,
Absolutely.
that we hadn't had in a while, is causing this.
I look at this as, in the past, we had no ponds, then we started in 2009, we went to retention, detention required for all the developments. This is just ponds 2.0, just an improvement of that whole system and a very big benefit for the community.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir. That's it.
You understand now? Okay. You a developer? Oh, okay. All right, thank you so much, Larry. I think that's all we have
All
for you.
right, thank you.
Any blue cards? All right. You could call the vote.
District 2?
Yes.
4?
Yes.
District 5? District 6?
Yes.
District 7? District 8? District 9? Motion to adopt is approved. Ordinance 210, 2017, an ordinance of the Lafayette City-Parish Council adopting a pay plan for the Lafayette Fire Department for fiscal year 17-18.
Motion by Castillo. Second by Lewis. Castillo.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Every year, we are presented with these ordinances adopting pay plans for the fire and police departments. And it's pretty routine, except now they're starting to cause an issue. Back in 2014-15, we had a base pay on the fire pay plan of $2,500. And if you recall, the older council members that were here prior to the new council coming in, we kind of went through the fire department and the police department's plans, and we brought everybody where we thought was a good base and raised everybody to a certain level. And since then, we haven't given an increase to the employees. So with that cause and effect, it would reduce the base by 2% every year that we didn't give the raises. So what I want to do is I want to bring the base back to 2,500 where it's supposed to be. If I understand correctly, there's no fiscal impact in bringing it back to 2,500 right now. And from this point on, keep it at what we agreed to as a base. There's going to be, I'll call some bunching at the 1 and 2 year range, but it follows through the pay plans, and everybody gets their true promotional pay. And state statute doesn't affect this. So we did this so we can retain firefighters, get some good ones in, and keep them through the ranks. And by reducing this base, if we don't give another raise next year, it goes down another 2%. And next year, it goes down another 2%. And before you know it, we're back to 1995's base pay. And it completely does away with what we tried to do. So I'm asking for your support to bring this back up to 2,500. Can I make that motion? See, I made that motion, right?
Oh, whenever you're
I
ready.
want to make the motion to amend the pay plan. I want to make that amendment. Yeah, my medicine's kicking in. Sorry.
Yeah, the
Got a
pain
bad
pill.
wing, man. I need a second to that, please.
Bellard has seconded that.
Thank you, Mr. Woodrow. Thank
You're
you,
more
Mr.
than
Bellard.
welcome. So, and just to kind of back up what Jay is saying, for those who maybe were not around, that we worked very hard to become competitive statewide. And that was in the area of recruiting, in this particular case, firefighters, and being able to retain them. And we certainly understand the rationale behind the reduction because of, as he indicated, the bunching that takes place in those first 3 years before the state supplement kicks in from what we call 3 to 23 years of service. So, and that was creating an issue that we've addressed that before as well, because you got, 1-year guys that could catch up with a 3-year guy. And there's been some talk about that and addressing that. But at the end of the day, the base pay is so important to being able to get firefighters hired and on board, and the impact it has throughout the plan. So this is the challenge that we have as a council and a government, is that we got to have good plans, okay? And this is another one of those issues where we're going to have to develop the courage to go out and get revenue, because these plans, as our department grows, as the demand for fire service grows, is going to require more revenue to meet those demands. So to do this is the right thing to do, but I could tell you that in the near future, there are going to be other right things that we're going to need to do. And I think we need to say that tonight so that we could start preparing. Otherwise, we continue this cycle that we constantly piecemealing and fixing. So I'm going to certainly support this, and I encourage your support. It's a good thing. It's going to really help out, like I say, mainly with being able to recruit people, but because of the impact throughout the service line, it keeps people as well, where we stop losing folks to other professions or other departments even. So if you have any questions, certainly don't hesitate to ask those, but I suggest that you support it. Thumbs up? All right.
Hang on,
Got
hang on.
3.
I'm speaking with legal right here, hang on. Okay, so I just one level. Okay, all right. In my amendment, was brought to my attention, the starting pay at 2,500, and the first level firefighter has to be brought to the same base, because last year they lowered that base, so they're at 24 something right now. They're not 25. So I want to include that in the amendment to bring them to 25, and that's part of the amendment.
Okay, so we're gonna let Lori help you say it the right way.
I do that.
Lori, would you just explain to Jay, could you basically explain it so it could be in the form of an amendment that he could just agree to, please? Because he's struggling tonight.
And I'm kind of struggling too. That's why I had to call the civil service director over. We have some firemen, because we didn't give base raises a couple of years. We have some firemen that we may hire tomorrow, that if we do this now and adjust the base rate, they'll be paid $2,500. But then we have some firemen who have been here for a year, and their base rate had been adjusted. Well, they're making $2,441. So the guy that's been here a year is going to make less than the guy we hire tomorrow, and we don't want that to happen.
Correct.
So we want to set the minimum base level at 25, and anybody making under 25 will be adjusted. And there will be a fiscal effect. I don't think it will be material, but by you adopting this pay plan, you are giving me that authority to make those adjustments.
That's my amendment.
All right. Do you need Adam?
I think Lori hit it just right. That's exactly, just to make sure that those firefighters aren't, in that second level, aren't caught between the language of the ordinance, make sure everyone's brought to at least 2,500.
And now you see the problem about reducing that base.
Right. That's been the issue historically.
Yeah.
When it was started to be reduced, that mean the catch-up was much quicker. So, that's Mr. Castillo's amendment. Mr. Bellard, you still seconding that? Sir. Okay. All right, so we have a amendment. Do we have any blue cards?
Yes, sir, we do have one speaker.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna address it before the amendment, so just in case it's related to the amendment, if they don't want, they could address it once it's amended and just wait for the adoption.
Yes, sir. Jason Benoit. Pass.
All right,
Yes, that's what I said.
so there are no other blue cards, so the first thing we're gonna do is vote on the amendment. Call the vote on the amendment, please.
Same thing.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 2? District 3? Motion to amend is approved.
Okay. Jason, do you want to speak now that it's been amended? Okay. All right. Call the vote as amended, please.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
Motion to adopt as amended is approved.
Not even
Ordinance
close.
211, 2017, an ordinance of the Lafayette City-Parish Council adopting a pay plan for the Lafayette Police Department for fiscal year 17-18.
Motion by Castillo. Second by Cook. Mr. Castillo.
Okay. Guess I'm gonna butcher this one too, huh? I want to do the same thing with the police department, and their starting pay back then was $28.8432. And I want to make sure that anyone who's making less than that is brought up to that pay range for the same reasons as the fire.
Motion made by Castillo. Bellard had already did it, I'm sorry. But, you know, we still got a couple items left. Okay. Any other council discussion based on the amendment? Okay. Any blue cards on this item?
Yes, sir, we do have one speaker, Crystal Scrantz.
Crystal? Is Crystal still with us? Okay, don't look like it. Crystal Scrant, official, okay, I think we've satisfied our requirement there. So let's vote on the amendment, please.
District 5? District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes,
Motion to amend is approved.
okay, as amended, please.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes,
Motion to adopt as amended is approved.
okay, now we're gonna move to appeals. Again, this is a public hearing, and the blue sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council. The 5-minute rule is in effect. Jeremy, could you please read that item?
Appeal of Planning Commission action, Altio Townhomes, PC 2017-55.
Okay. Just as a reminder, members, we did receive a request to deny from the developer based on certain conditions. Sarah is gonna still do her magic and make sure that everybody knows everything that is going on. Mr. Conk is going to have something to offer following Sarah's presentation, and then we'll hear from any members, then the public thereafter. Ms. Garrett.
Good evening, council. So this is an appeal by the Planning Commission. This is for Altio Townhomes. At the September Planning Commission, it was granted preliminary plat approval as a 5-lot, 5-unit townhouse development. An adjacent property owner appealed the decision of the Planning Commission, which is why we're here tonight. After the meeting, the developer and Councilman Conk met with the adjacent property owners, and after that meeting, the developer decided to redesign his site. And so basically what he did was he went from a 5 to a 4-lot and 4-unit townhouse development. And Veronica, if you could, and I'll show you guys what, so this is basically the site. This is what it looked like prior, or this is what was approved by the Planning Commission. And after discussions with the neighborhood, basically this is what it will look like. So with the plan here, what he was proposing, and this is not my normal thing, so give me just, okay, here we go. Well, you're not gonna be able to see it, but there was a private street that ran, I guess you could say, kind of northeast, right? Yeah, this thing doesn't work up there. But there's a private street when you're looking at it to the right-hand side, and the 5 lots would front off of the private street, essentially. What he's now proposing is to get rid of the private street. He's going from 5 units and 5 lots to 4 units, 4 lots, and basically all of the townhouses will front on what is the existing Amaryllis. So it'll look more like a single unit house.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bruce, you have something you're going to offer? You on?
Yes, sir. And before I do make a motion, because this would require a motion as opposed to just yea or nay on the appeal, all due credit to Mr. Hebert. He actually, when I requested a meeting to address this issue and the concerns of the neighborhood, he was already in the process of proposing an option to his original plan. So while our meeting, the subsequent meeting, did address what we're looking at tonight, it was Mr. Hebert who initiated the move, and thank you, Steve, for that. What I would like to do is propose a motion for 116 Amaryllis appeal, and that is, this is an unusual motion. It is a motion to grant the appeal in part and deny the appeal in part. I move to grant the appeal in part to the following extent. Add an additional item under the section entitled Plat Revisions on the action letter dated September 13th, 2017 to read as follows. Revise the plat to reflect that this will be a 4-lot, 4-unit townhouse development as shown on the plan labeled 116 Amaryllis New Concept, a copy of which has been provided to the council and to the clerk for placement into the record. In all other respects, the appeal is denied. I don't think I've ever seen a motion like this on an appeal.
Jay drew it. Okay. Mr. Conk makes a motion. Can someone second it? Second. Okay, Mr. Terrio. All right. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Conk?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay. Is the developer, are you interested in making comment, or would you like to speak, which is, would we allow during this process?
Thank you very much. My name is Stephen Hebert, and today I'm here in front as a president of the real estate store, the owner of this lot. One little point, I think I made a typo on the deal. It is actually 106 Amaryllis. I think I made that mistake, 116 Amaryllis.
But the
I don't know
plat you
if it
submitted
matters.
shows 116.
Right,
So
but
we're good.
the actual municipal address is 106. I don't want there to be a a legal problem about that. And I also learned a long time ago not to argue a point. I'm already winning, so I'm not going to do that. While we're patting each other on the back, I would like to thank Councilman Conk for the cooperation and getting us all together, and the planning staff has been very, very helpful. So thank y'all all very much, and we look forward to adding a little bit more to the tax base of Lafayette Parish. We're doing our part to balance the budget.
There you go. Thank you, Steve. All right. Are there any blue cards on this item?
The only speaker was Mr. Stephen Abear.
Okay, good deal. So, Mr. Escott.
The motion on the floor that's been seconded, a yes vote will result in the development being a 4-lot, 4-townhome development. And a no vote the motion will fail.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.
Call the vote.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5? Motion to grant the appeal in part and deny the appeal in part is approved.
Okay. Appointment by council members, mayor, president, and/or other direct appointing authority. Jeremy, 27, 28, and 29, please.
Joe Robideau, Lafayette Mayor President, appoints Shelley Lyles Fontenot to the Lafayette Animal Care Center Advisory Board for a 4-year term effective October 1st, 2017. Jared Bellard, District 5 Councilmember, appoints Terry Beck to the Lafayette Parish Waterworks District South Board for a 4-year term effective November 1st, 2017. Local area mayors reappoint Amos Batiste to the Lafayette Convention and Visitors Commission for a 4-year term effective January 1st, 2018.
Okay, we're going to now move to introductory ordinances. Remind everyone that item number 30 has been pulled from the in global list on a separate voting discussion due to a proposed amendment. I'll entertain a motion in a second to take all others in global. Motion by Bellard, second by Lewis. Jeremy, could you please read all items with the exception of 30? Members, if you're going to have conversations, we're going to ask that you take them to the side so that he is not interrupted.
Ordinance 213, 2017, an ordinance of the Lafayette City-Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to enter into a fiscal year 17-18 cooperative endeavor agreement between the Parish of Lafayette and the District Attorney, and amending the fiscal year 17-18 operating budget and adjusting the manning tables of the Lafayette City-Parish Consolidated Government by increasing the use of prior year fund balance by $4,594, adjusting various District Attorney and Parish General accounts, and deleting all District Attorney positions to implement the cooperative endeavor agreement. Ordinance 214, 2017, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the fiscal year 17-18 capital budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by transferring $500,677.85 from various projects to the intersection improvements Faux Follett East Bayou Parkway Kali Saloom Road project within the Public Works Department to facilitate the expenditure of earlier issued bond funds. Ordinance 215, 2017, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council declaring the building or structure located at 315 West End Avenue, Lafayette, Louisiana, owned by Crescentia Harmon Saunier Cotton to be dilapidated and dangerous to the public welfare, and ordering the condemnation of same.
Any council discussion or questions on any of these introductory items? Seeing none, any blue cards on any of these items?
No, sir.
Okay, please call the vote on the items that have been read.
District 7? District 8?
Oh, I just heard you say 7. Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 2?
Hey, guys.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
Motion to introduce in globo is approved.
Okay, we're going to now return to item number 30.
Ordinance 212, 2017, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to enter into a fiscal year 17-18 cooperative endeavor agreement between the Parish of Lafayette and the 15th Judicial District Court, providing for the payment of court expenses for fiscal year 17-18.
Motion by Bellard, second by Lewis. Okay, obviously this is the one that has the proposed amendment. It has been provided for you in your packet. If someone has had the opportunity to review it, or if you need an explanation, I will accept a motion to offer this amendment. Motion by Castile, second by Terrio. All right, we're going to open the floor for council discussion on this introductory ordinance. There is any blue cards? Okay, let's vote on the amendment first, please. Made by Castile, second by Terrio.
District 8,
Yes.
9,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5, District 6,
Yes.
District 7. Motion to amend is approved.
As amended.
District 8,
Yes.
District 9,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5, District 6,
Yes.
District 7. Motion to introduce as amended is approved.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.